Okay, welcome to Tennis Sucks Pod. We have a very special guest. You guys probably know of her because she was a pick in Premier MLP. Rachel Rohrabacher. Am I saying your last name correct?
Yeah,
Rohrabacher?
that's good.
It's a good last name. It's strong.
Rohrabacher, German?
Yeah, Dutch.
Beautiful. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, welcome, Rachel. We're gonna, I think, jump into some topics here, and please chime in if you have anything for us on these, recent topics in the PPA, and then we'll get to know a little more about you.
Hey, can we just take a poll really quick? For all of those
no.
that have children, do you think you were busy at all before you had kids, or was it only after you had kids that you were like, wow, I'm insanely busy? Just please chime in on that, because Peter Pan over here, dipshit, thinks that he somehow is really busy. And when I say I'm busy because I'm watching a 4-year-old, he always has some bullshit remark that makes me just want to yeet him through the fence over here.
She's 4 now?
Yeah, she's 4, almost 5. Yeah, so you got to watch her ass, because now she can get into everything. She can get up on counters, grab knives. It's very dangerous. But anyway, please comment.
Okay,
so
Luke,
that Peter Pan knows.
What's our first topic?
All right, well, I think it was last episode that we were talking about the split of Matt and Riley. They've now had a chance to, go to a tournament separately. So let's talk about those results.
I think that we were kind of spot on there on the Riley one. We were pretty adamant that wasn't going to work with Julian. Nothing against Julian, but he looked super lost, in my opinion, playing with Riley. Like, didn't know what balls to take, when to be beta, when to be alpha. And when those roles are not clearly established, it's very, very hard to be successful. And that's where Matt, I was having this conversation with Connor earlier, it's like there's probably only 2 players that Matt could have the results he has with, but he's so good at playing the role he plays. And now you're asking players that are attempting to dominate the court to basically play beta to Riley's alpha, and it's a really, really difficult thing. And it didn't look smooth. It just didn't look good. It looked like shit. So
it is their first event.
Of
so
course,
give them a little more time, but I agree.
No question.
It's 2 guys that want to be extremely active, fighting each other.
Correct, a little bit.
It's not a team.
Yeah, it's not a team yet, and I'm not saying they can't put it together, but I guess our theory was that this isn't going to be easy. He's going to have better results with Matt for a while than he has with anybody else. And I think that's going to be the case, whether it's AJ. I think AJ and him actually have a better chance than he and Julian, just because I think they have a better rapport.
We've seen him and AJ, though. That didn't go great.
No, but they won a PPA, like the first one they ever played years ago, like 2021, in Vegas. So they're just better friends, so like that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I think what they're hoping for is like lightning, where they're unstoppable all of a sudden, even if it's just for
everyone's hoping for that. So that's why the head coach changes every year in the NFL. Like it's
and that could happen.
It's a farce.
That could happen. It could happen once.
No, it happens. But she's like I said, it's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah,
it happens fucking once.
So I guess we should ask you, Rachel. Do you watch pickleball?
I do.
So did you watch the Seattle PPA?
I watched more of the women's.
Okay.
But I'm getting into watching more, especially because I have more time now and it's becoming my career. So committing myself to watching
more. Are you moving towards it full time?
Yes.
Oh, you are. Nice. Good for you.
So.
And you were teaching tennis before, or what?
So I was teaching tennis when I first graduated from college, but I moved into teaching a little bit of pickleball, and I took a long break, started my master's because I kind of was burnt out from transferring to that just from graduating college tennis. And then I picked it back up, teaching pickleball back up in 2022. And then I kind of fell into playing with the Kawamotos up in Indiana.
Nice.
And, this year I was like, let's just see what happens.
So who are your girls that you watch that you're like, oh, she's very fun to watch, I feel like I can learn from her?
I honestly love watching Anna Bright. I like learning from...
What a suck up.
Yeah, such a suck up. Like, what a bullshit
She's my
answer.
favorite.
She's
the
best.
Yeah, nice hat, Rachel. We love it.
Thank you. Go
They do have great merch.
They do.
Top
They have the
shelf
cutest mascot in the MLP. So
we agree with it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think I like watching Annalie and Catherine. And I also like watching, even though I play against the Kawamotos, I like watching it, watch when you're not on the court with them, playing against them, just watching the positioning helps me a lot.
Okay.
And the girls' game is just so different than the men's that that's why I just tend to watch a little bit more of that.
Yep.
So what's your take on, do you have any take on Riley and Matt breaking up? Do you Do you know their game before? Do you think it was a mistake by them to break up and try different partners, or for Riley to go after different partners?
I can understand. So I don't know. I know Riley's game pretty well. I don't know Matt's and Julian's game enough to comment on their game style, but I understand maybe why they wanted to change it up, just to see if they could get a win, because I think they've lost consecutively a lot, but they also have a great rapport and they're used to playing with each other. So, I mean, maybe if it's a temporary change up, I can understand it to see if something can happen. But other than that, well, my only opinion.
Yeah, there was a great memes of pickleball. I don't know if you saw that, but the guy with the boombox standing outside.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's the case yet, but maybe in like a month or two, he's
definitely.
Oh, please come back to me, my love.
Yeah, after feeling close to 30 medals,
27 in a row.
27 in a row, you're gonna want that feeling again pretty quickly if you don't get it soon.
Yeah, but I mean, I think at this point, it's like first or last. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just first.
Yeah.
Other changes that happened recently at Leia's final singles game this weekend. So I guess we're
not buying that.
I don't think anybody is. What do you think about that, Rachel? Retiring from singles pickleball for Leia.
I did see her interview. I can understand if it's for medical reasons and she wants to prolong her pickleball career in doubles, because she is, one of those.
It's her best event by far.
It is.
Singles is, yeah.
Like I don't see why. I mean, I understand like the logic behind doing it. I just don't think she will. I think after a couple weeks, maybe she has a couple quick doubles mixed weekends, and she's like, "Oh fuck this! I'm gonna go back and get myself, the final again."
Well, you know her pretty well. You know her better than I do, so I feel like I trust your judgment on that one.
I'm speculating. I speculate plenty. I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows, but that's just my guess. Is that it won't last. I think it's a short term. And I see the reason for doing it from a medical standpoint and from like wanting to prolong the career. But when you're that good at something and it kind of gives you your clout, you don't just drop it.
But the other problem is going to be is even if she say it's only 2 months or 3 months and she gets the itch, she's going to lose a lot. You know what I mean? Like you're going to lose that. You don't think so? People are going to gain. People are going to gain. You're going to fall behind. Yet.
I mean, like look how quickly Judah Castillo popped up. There's not enough. No, not offense to the women's game. There's just not enough good women's players yet that she wouldn't come back and be top 3 or 4 right away. Unless there's like a freight of them coming through that I'm unaware of. I just don't think that's the case yet.
Speaking of which, how's your singles game?
I think I'm pretty good in singles. I practice with a lot of men who play differently than women. And I just need to get a little bit more hang of the women's strategy, because they hit, way more balls from the baseline.
Way more, yeah, it's weird.
So, yeah, and when the men come in, I play with a lot of 5-0 men, and
they come in every ball, right?
They come in and I just pass them,
Right.
Got great passing shots. But the women, I need to navigate the strategy a little bit more. But I think I have the game. I just need to practice.
I've got a counter to that. From my understanding, Anna Lee only practices with males.
5-0 males?
Nope. When she was at a tournament, she specifically walked over and said, "Travis, can you come play singles with me?" She practices almost exclusively against men.
Why would that make sense? That's not even.
But she does.
Okay, but why is that a counter? Number one.
Because she's saying is she needs to start playing more women to understand women's game, and I'm saying Anna Lee only plays men, and she's the most dominant female in singles pickleball.
Okay,
it's a good counter.
I disagree. It's really not. Because she's so far ahead of every other female. Like she's probably just looking for a challenge. It's different than trying to learn the game.
Can you come to the net at all when you're playing against like high level men? Like, do you come in also?
Yes.
I say keep playing men.
Yeah, play it. There's a lot of opportunity in the women's singles game in particular. I mean, look at Riza. Riza's like first pro event. She was in. I think she got 6th. Had chances against Georgia. Like played her close.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of opportunity there. If you're a high level tennis player, you can come in and maybe mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Good deal.
We also saw the Johns brothers lose pretty decisively to Pat and DJ.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I think DJ played great. Pat was really aggressive towards the end, which seemed like no one else wanted to be. It was interesting. The Johns kind of have this like default mode. When it gets close, they just go into lockdown and they only dink. Like there's almost no aggression. And they tried to do that and they didn't take any risk, but it backfired on them. And Patty reached in on a few balls towards the end, but they had 40, 50 ball dink rallies towards the end of the game. I thought DJ played really solid, really well. Usually, plays pretty stupid, and he was disciplined. He was calculated, and definitely that new engage that he's got gives him a lot more bite. He was making the ball move quite a bit, and it was disappointing to see that they didn't play quite as well. The next match, it looked like DJ didn't have the same energy. But yeah, it's interesting to see that they kind of go down to these guys that are unexpected as opposed to later in the tournament.
I saw it a little differently. I thought you're right. DJ played the best I've seen him play because he was controlled.
Yeah.
Like his dinking, he was by far the best dinker in the four of them in those games, right? Like I don't think he missed really any dinks, which is incredible. He didn't speed up like he normally does. He didn't make
really
like dumb speed ups against them. So he was very solid, but I thought the Johns just played terribly.
See, I thought they were just tight, and then they made
exactly.
They made some ill-advised decisions, but I think they went in thinking that DJ would do dumb things. Like for instance, that's my point at the end.
Yeah,
they were going like 40 balls in a row, like DJ's going to do something dumb.
Yeah,
or Pat's, and they just didn't. They just didn't. And then all of a sudden, a ball would sit a little bit, and they were willing to take the risk. Where the Johns brothers were like, "All right, we're just going to keep making balls."
I wonder if DJ is going to play more like that now that he's seen results from playing that way.
Yeah, man, I hope so. It's interesting because he's going to switch back to the left. He'd kind of established himself as a pretty solid right side guy, and I think he's trying to find his identity. I think still, and that's the interesting part of this game is I think there's so much room for growth with a variety of players and even a variety of styles. Tim Park said something the other day like we don't even know if we're playing the game right yet, and I thought that was a really interesting thought process because there's some who declare themselves like these strategic geniuses. We're in such an early phase of the game, like tennis, for instance, in the beginning days, you only serve and volleyed. Serve and volleyed relentlessly. Everybody, men, women. Like if you serve and volley at every point, now you get your fucking ass kicked. And so the game alters, it evolves, it changes. We don't even know yet if this is the right strategy, what's coming in 5-10 years, how it's going to evolve from a strategic perspective. So, I think along with DJ and other players, like there's so much happening right now where guys are adding shots, adding style, adding creativity, and it's only going to continue.
Yeah, and people are hungry to see somebody other than Annalie and Ben Johns win.
Fuck, so badly.
Like you saw it when the cheering of the Kawamotos.
Yeah.
Like how hard were people cheer? I mean, basically any team that's playing these favorites now,
But Beer City was more
favorite.
fun to watch to some extent because it was like different faces.
Definitely. People love Beer City. But yeah, to my point about the Johns, if you ask them, I'd have a feeling they say they played terrible because I started counting errors once you told me to go watch the match.
Right.
And in game 2, I counted, I was up to 15 errors on Ben Johns.
That's crazy.
When do you hear a number like that in a game? And then the next game,
He litters the stat sheet up decently.
You know the account that does the stats now on?
Yeah, Clear Stats.
They did it
Clear.
for that game, and
Oh,
Ben
here.
made more unforced errors in game 2 than a long time, and then Colin in game 3.
yeah,
So,
Colin had like
yeah,
10 or
it was
more
a
in
lot.
game 3, and
Yeah.
Ben had another 8 in game 3 is what I was counting up
Yeah.
to. So those are numbers. Usually, I think, Ben, you're not going to see more than 3 or 4 errors, true errors a game. To hear numbers like 15 is unheard of. He doesn't do that in a whole match. So I think that was part of it. But yeah, DJ played great. And Pat, kudos to him. Nice win.
Graham, you got here something about some paddle controversy. You want to talk to us about that?
A little bit about Pro XR. I'm starting to hear like whispers about.
Okay, so I got to touch on this then.
Okay, good.
That's good, yeah. So my buddy Ryan Eveloff, who I've known since he was
Singles player.
since I was 10 years old. He wants to play everything, but he's
He did
playing
well.
singles.
He got like
He got
4th or
semis.
something. Oh,
He
nice.
beat JW badly.
Yeah.
And he beat Pablo also. And when he beat Pablo, I literally wrote him because I saw he was about to play JW, and I wrote him as like almost a joke. Like, did you just beat Tellez? He was like, yeah, I beat him. I was like, shut the fuck up. It's like, no, I beat him. Okay. And then I watched him play JW, and he smoked him. Now, the reality is, when he was playing with the Pro XR, I played him a few months ago, and he was playing with the SLK Halo, which we know doesn't create a ton, soft paddle.
Yeah.
But he was making the ball move so much with the Pro XR. It was like, holy shit. And he was like, dude, I'm a different player. Like, it's not even close. So it just goes to show, like, he'd been playing, let's say 5, 6, 7 pro tournaments over the last 8 months with the Halo. Hadn't even gotten out of qualies once. Switches to the Pro XR, the ball's moving 300% more, and he suddenly goes semis and is serving the ball like, it looks like Rafa hitting groundies, not Rafa Hewitt, Rafa Nadal. Nadal hitting groundies, like the ball is just biting off out of the air, and it changed the entire game. So apparently every player that he played challenged his paddle. Every single one.
So this is the controversy. Here's the controversy. And Proxr, Pro XR, if you want to send us some cash for this segment, because we're probably going to sell a couple thousand paddles by having it. Basically, yeah, everyone kept testing it. And so now apparently, and I could be completely wrong on this, the new rule is they test the paddle 3 times in one session.
Okay.
If it passes once, it's okay. It failed 2 and passed 1 every single time it was challenged. Fail, pass. Okay, you're good to go.
But see, that's such bullshit because parts of the paddle are going to be more gritty than the other, always. So if I find one dull spot, I'm good.
Okay, here's the controversy. And then it extends on to this. Let's talk about the other players who are playing that same Zane Navratil paddle. Zane, results being much better lately. Am I right?
Lately,
Connor Garnett.
He's making it move. So we just played him in Denver. The ball was moving ridiculous amounts.
And that's
ridiculous.
And that's the competition. That's
and
what they're
then
challenging.
we got a guy like Andre Mick too. Like all of a sudden is
right.
you know.
So that's the controversy is that paddle is ultra gritty.
Oh, it's so gritty.
It's kind of passing, not really. It's like somehow skirting the edges, and it's showing in the results of all the players that use it. I mean, they're saying on serves alone, like Ben Johns is saying, like I've never seen serves dip like that. Like it looks 2 feet out to me, and it's falling in the side of the line.
It's crazy what Ryan was hitting. Like I literally, like I said, just practiced with the guy and was like, this was a different world, a different player.
Question for you, Rachel. Do you have a paddle sponsorship yet?
I don't.
You don't?
You were using the Yola, right?
What do you play with?
So I was using the Electrum, that like starter. I feel like it's the tennis player starter.
The Model E?
Yeah.
I started with that too.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And I loved that paddle.
Soft.
I did,
But I don't know why I started with that. Because like,
either.
so many people start with that.
Yeah.
Anna started with that.
Well, probably because right about the time you guys were starting, that was the paddle. It's one of the few carbon fibers that made sense and had spin.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Back when you guys started.
Maybe. Okay,
Now
so
there's
you went.
Well, I
100
actually
carbon
did
fibers.
start, like when I first started teaching, I started with the Invicta Amped. And the Selkirk, the Electra was more like it, except with a gritty face.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's honestly why I went to that one. Now I'm kind of trying, I'm in between the Eula Perseus 60 millimeter and the Selkirk Halo Control.
We're going to recommend the Proxr Zane Navratil blue paddle.
He actually handed me one at Beer City, so I have it.
I'd say try it out.
Give that a shot.
Give it a shot.
That thing's moving.
We're seeing
it
some
on deck.
results.
We're seeing literally Eveloff was like 0-14 on the year, and suddenly he's just shitting on JW. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, market yourself there for Pro XR a little bit, Ryan. There's an opportunity, buddy.
All right, I want to hear you guys' opinions if you saw Pablo Tellez's moment with his paddle and the screens.
Yeah,
Did you see
not
that?
Tell us
wise.
about that.
Yeah, basically there's a $300,000 video board that's behind the court, and Pablo, after a long point, gave it a little loft into the video board, and it took a chunk out of the
$300,000
out
board.
of the LED light bulbs, just kind of
Seattle.
at this past one, Seattle. So yeah, I'd be really curious. Like,
There's a good meme for that one. It's Pablo coming to the doorstep with a handful of money on his hand and knees to Connor saying, "I'm."
well, that's the question that I was like trying to debate, and I'd love to know, what does that repair cost?
It's probably not that much.
Really?
I'm guessing like $1,000, if that, $500. And even if you don't repair it, so what? It's a little chunk.
No.
Put some duct tape on it.
No,
It's like the size of a pickleball.
No. Just
No?
hiring
You
the
got-
guy that can fix it is $1,000, and then the LEDs, like they're special. They order them. I'm going in the $3,000 range.
I want to say is I think Pablo's doing all the right things. I really do. Somehow he's the bad boy of pickleball that's extremely likable.
Yes.
You can't ask for better optics than that.
Yeah.
So Pablo, I don't think it's intentional, but just keep doing it,
No,
man.
he's just being himself.
You're crushing it. Yeah.
He's a great guy.
He's the lovable guy. The
Yep.
second you meet him, you love him. And
Yep.
it's moments like that. Yeah, I sent him the meme literally right after he did it and it came out. And he immediately responded. I probably shouldn't get him in trouble. He responded like, LOL, like smiley face. Like, what do you do? It's like, he didn't mean to do that. And I'm sure they'll find a fix. And I don't think it'll be too bad.
Well, they have to know, like, that's bound to happen at some point. So
There's
a fix.
Yeah, something's going to happen to it.
All right, let's skip over to learning a little bit more about Rachel. Love to hear a little bit about your background, how you got into pickleball.
Well, the funny story is I found you from Tampa. I told them on the last pod, I started messaging you, not knowing that I already knew you until we exchanged numbers. And then I see we have like 2 years worth of texts and that I took lessons from you when I first started. And I felt like such an idiot. And you're like, yeah, you are an idiot.
How do you rate Graham as a student?
Honestly,
I was very new.
Why are you
was
fucking
very
chiming in?
new.
Oh,
He was very new.
Right.
I think he was very analytical of like, he had buy-in. Like he was listening, but you could tell his gears were turning.
But he couldn't do it, right? So like what you were asking, he just couldn't do it.
No,
Is that, no,
I
come on.
honestly
Just
can't
be
remember.
straight. Like, trust me, I've tried a lot.
she probably was
How-
like,
I
this is the
honestly
best
can't
I've ever
remember.
had. This guy's probably going to be a really good player.
Really good
I
is a
see
very
natural
relative
talent,
term.
a lot of natural talent.
So
I think I remember asking
anytime
you
someone says the wheels are turning, Graham, that's the nice way of saying he's trying to figure it out, but he can't.
when you can see the wheels are turning, that's a really bad sign.
Yeah, just dumbfounded
You know
face.
that meme where it's like the guy with all the math equations? That was
going
it.
on.
That was it.
Yeah.
I just remember asking you about two-handed backhands.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
And this before
Oh my
we knew,
gosh,
this before we
that's
knew
right.
two-handed was like a real thing, like whether or
Yeah.
not it was gonna be a thing. Like everyone did one-handed, and you were like, I don't really do two-handed, so I would just stick with the one hand. And I'm like, okay, I'll stick with the one hand.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah, like,
Because I have like a full on two.
or maybe you thought I wasn't gonna get it, but you were just like,
Yeah,
your one
sometimes
hand's
you
good,
gotta-
just stick with it. I'm like, okay.
When I would try to tell Graham things, after like 10 seconds, I'll be like, I don't like this. It's like, all right, well, we're just going to move on then, I guess, because fucking A, you can't do it. So next, let's just walk forward.
You had been teaching for a while, even when I met you, and that was a couple years ago already.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I began teaching in like 2020. I forget the year that you.
Probably a year after that.
Yeah, maybe in 2021.
21,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, I stopped. I really was teaching a little bit when I was teaching you, just to make some extra money because I was focusing on my master's in a different job. Because again, like that was a little burnout, so I just needed to take a break from training and doing all the tennis pickleball stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was teaching on and off throughout since 2020.
So you went to South Carolina. What'd you play?
I played 6 singles and 2 and 3 doubles.
Okay. All 4 years or just your last year?
So my
Were you,
first
like, redshirting the first year or what?
my first 2 years, I was pretty injured. I had shin splints and then a back injury. And I was pretty sick on and off throughout my sophomore year. So junior year,
It happens to all the best of us athletes. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're going through. It's happening to
You?
me. Yeah, right now it's starting to happen to me.
oh, what's wrong?
No, please don't empathize with him. Tell your
elbow,
story.
Pickleball
He's
elbow.
got
and
pickle
that's legit.
elbow and I mean, I
But-
won't say the other thing.
But I got a chance my junior year. My coach was like, all right, someone's injured, you're in. And I kind of just stayed in at 6. I didn't really lose. That was kind of just became my job,
Nice.
was to get on and off the court, get a point on the board as quickly as possible. And in doubles, I got ranked 9 in the nation. I played 2. Our one team was ranked 4. So
Nice.
we had a pretty solid doubles team. And my senior year, we won the SEC championships.
Oh, shit.
Look at that.
And we were ranked 3 in the nation.
Okay.
So
Boom.
I had a good tennis career.
Good
That's the
squad.
Gamecocks.
Yeah, the
That-
Gamecocks.
Oh, that's an unfortunate
Go Cox.
mascot.
Go Cox. No, it's not.
Oh,
You
Yes,
really
it is.
fall into it. It's just it's you really do. At first, it's weird. I get it, but you really embrace the Cox.
I went to UF, so
I embraced the cock.
yeah. Edit that out. That's our promo.
Oh,
I mean-
unbelievable!
Like, I didn't even fucking look at it.
That
all
was
right?
intentional for sure. There was anger. Have you beat this? Have you beat her before in pickleball?
Never seen her before ever.
For those that did not see that on the video stream, Travis just blindly
Saved my
caught a
life.
pickleball.
Thank you.
And yeah, save Rachel's life.
I'm really good in high stress situations. Medium stress, very, very bad. Awful. It's
Speaking
bad.
of stressful situations, Rachel, take us back to the MLP draft. When did you expect to get drafted when you applied for that? Like, what was going through your brain?
No. I definitely thought I'd be drafted in Challenger. Premier was kind of just, I feel like everyone's a little hopeful, everyone's like, oh, maybe I'll get in Premier. But I was talking to a few teams and Anna called me late the night before the draft. I think she was just kind of scoping the scene, like testing the waters, seeing what's going on. And but I really had no idea. Like, she didn't give me any inkling of where she was going or really not even why she was calling, kind of. But I didn't even talk to Squeeze ownership. So, yeah, I had no idea. It was a nice
I knew
surprise.
before you, I think. Anna
you?
called me that morning. Yeah. She gave me an indication that she was going to draft you.
Gotcha, yeah. She didn't.
Had you played a lot of tournaments before that?
Before the draft?
Yeah.
I started playing April. The US Open was my first real tournament of the year. And then I played the Atlanta Open, Texas Open, and an APP. And I did pretty well, or decent enough, I guess.
Yeah, no, you were on the boards for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about leading up to the MLP event. What are you most excited about or nervous about?
I'm most excited about being on a team again. I think I do my best when a team, like accountability and a team's counting on me. So I'm really excited to be a part of that. I miss college tennis a lot. Like the thing I miss most about it is the team aspect. So very excited about that.
And you have 4 very professional people on your team.
Yeah.
I should say 3. I don't know about you, but just no offense. I don't know you. But Zane, Diescu, and Anna all are very professional people, and I think you got a really good squad that's gonna come together pretty decently.
Yeah, I think
Low on the talent level, but
yeah.
very good.
I didn't say that.
I did.
Also, another thing, piggybacking off the professionalism, I'm really excited to play with people who it seems like they want to win as badly as I do and also hate to lose as much as I do.
Sure.
And I think that really matters to me, the intensity factor. So I'm really excited about
Andre's
that.
a great partner, I think. I mean, it'll be interesting to see who you play mixed with, but I mean, he's been like, I don't want to say the surprise of the year from my end, but just consummate professional, so consistent, playing great week in, week out. So I think you guys got a great player there.
Yeah.
Have you played with Anna Bright before?
No, I haven't. I actually know her from junior tennis.
That's what we kind of know a little bit of story that,
Yeah.
she likes your tennis background and thinks that basically you're going to be a duplicate of her, which would be nice.
That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah.
I hope that comes true.
When we first met Anna Bright, we were at a tournament. It was like Travis's first tournament or one of the first tournaments. And I was like his biggest fan. And it was
my
her
only fan.
It was her first tournament, and she just came out like winning everything.
Yeah, she
and
destroyed me.
I'm like,
in
hey,
mixed.
I've got your next male partner for mixed. The guy's a beast. You're gonna want to pick up Travis right now. And she was like, yeah, I've already gotten 30 requests from other guys. I'll get back to you.
And then didn't. And then
And then
didn't.
didn't.
I wrote her too, and I was like, "Hey, here's my tennis credentials. You know, I haven't played much." And she was like, "Yeah, think about it." Like 2 words back. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
bro.
thanks. Good luck.
That's incredible.
But we love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome. I'm very excited.
Are you getting much chance to practice with the team leading up to it, or do you have any plans to go?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm actually going to be going down to Boca. First time will be August 15th that week. Planning on going again after the Kansas City PPA and then again after the Cincinnati PPA. So I'm really going to go down there, and I just want to show them like my dedication level and appreciation for being given the opportunity, and I'm going to give it, my all, my best shot. I'm not taking it for granted. So.
And is this like your step to making this your full-time job? Like you were talking about this being your career. Like, is this the beginning of you going pro?
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduate with my master's this Saturday.
Oh, congratulations. What's it a
Thank
master's
you.
in?
It's in social work.
Okay, that's going to go a long way in team play and pickleball, I think.
Yeah, I was just a mental health counselor. So, whenever I'm done with pickleball, I want to be a sports mental health counselor. So that's the direction I want to go with that. But
I've got your first
I was
client.
about to say, I need some help.
Holy cow. Can we start right now?
Jesus. And your second, but to your left. I mean, the guy is a fucking basket case.
Luke's, he's sane. I like Luke. Luke knows what he's
he
doing.
seems put together.
We really just brought Rachel here to have an intervention between you both. Really, we're gonna have a sit-down conversation.
That's awesome. Yeah, congrats on
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
really nice.
But technically this week, actually, since I was in town, I've been training over at Barmore with Damon Hinkle, and from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I've been drilling and then doing weights in the afternoon or match play. So this is technically my first week as a full-time professional pickleball player.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
We know Damon. He was my other coach. You and Damon are my only ever. Well,
Damon's the
Travis,
best.
but Travis is horrible. But yeah, Damon and you were the two that basically made me the player I am today.
Aw.
That's not a compliment.
I'm a five- I'm a 5'2" I'm a 5'2"
And when I met him, he was a 4'9".
Right? I'm gonna take full credit
With
for
a
both
one-handed
Damon and I.
backhand.
He's gone up 0.3 duper in 18 months. It's
Maybe we can
unbelievable.
revisit the two-handed backhand at some point.
Oh, no, he's got it. He's got it down.
You do.
I don't.
From you?
No,
I definitely don't. I need help with it still.
No, but it's good. His two-hander.
Now that I know you actually know how to teach it and just were lying to me to save some time.
That's
Think
funny.
how good I would be if I'd have learned the two-handed 2 years ago. I'd probably be on the tour.
Maybe.
It'd be a 6'2".
We'll see. So, but you're moving away from Tampa now, which is unfortunate. Travis is
Yeah.
looking for people to play with. So, I guess how do we convince you to move back?
I moved away. My boyfriend's was a professional soccer player when I did move away. So I'm in Indiana now. Moving to Cincinnati actually at the end of October. So
What's the reason for that? A job?
my boyfriend got a job with FC Cincinnati now, so he'll be
Very
here.
nice.
Yeah. So we actually, I don't know if you've heard of Aces.
We know Nate
I'm
Matthews, the
literally-
guy who.
yes,
Oh, we're
he's
huge.
gonna be my new drilling partner.
Shout out to Nate,
Shout out,
lucky man.
Nate.
Yep, he's awesome. Love
Yeah.
him.
living right next to there, so I'm excited. It's going to be a good
Looks like
setup.
a very nice facility.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, we're jealous in every way. But you'll visit here because your family's here. So we're going to see more of you
Yes,
and get
absolutely.
some practicing
My
in.
parents used to live here, so I'll be back.
Great.
I think that's good.
Oh, that's it?
Wonderful.
You got anything for
Tennis
us?
fucking sucks. Look at the courts behind us. Don't ever play it. It's awful. Don't put your kids in it unless they want to play for fun, not for real.
Do you have anything,
Wait,
Rachel?
What
Rachel,
is the
before
reasoning for that, or is that the closing of every?
it's the closing of
Yeah,
it.
it's closing everyone. But
It's the
I
name of
like
our
tennis
podcast.
traumatized me drastically.
I know that's the name, but I just didn't know if that was
Tennis
like,
traumatized me.
Well,
so
he's a
pickleball rules,
tennis pro.
I feel like tennis traumatizes everyone a little bit.
Precisely.
Right,
And I have
because
friends
tennis
who are like
suck.
drug addicts. One killed themselves. He was number one junior
I
in the
feel
world.
guilty for saying that.
He jumped off a cliff.
I mean, you already said it.
Facts.
I'm sorry about your friend. That is
Yeah.
sad.
It's really fucking sad. And tennis
is
fucks
sad.
people up. I believe that. Like I don't think it's healthy. I really don't.
I know
this
a lot
is fun.
I know a lot
Yeah,
of
Pickleball's
great
fun.
pickleball
tennis
is more
players.
fun. Pickleball is definitely more
The
fun.
social people like actually want you to do well. I would like
Absolutely.
root against my best friends. How's that normal?
So, from a mental health expert, you would recommend not putting any of your kids or playing tennis ever. Definitely steer them towards
Not
pickleball.
ever. Not just they can play for fun.
Yeah.
Not for like you're going to be psycho parent, you're going to be number one in the world, or you're going to be whatever. Like all that stuff is such a it's
Absolutely.
insanity.
That's your recommendation?
I'm gonna recommend. I direct that more at the parents.
Yes, it's at the parents for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I
Got
also
it.
think the
Yeah.
culture of tennis, especially in the United States, is like a very I, and it's improving a lot. But Jesus, it just doesn't pertain to like a healthy, balanced child, in my opinion. If
Yeah.
you're playing 5-6 hours a day, going to homeschool,
I was virtual school. So.
yeah, so was I. Like all
Yeah.
that shit is just,
It is a lot.
it's a lot.
It's not for the weak.
See, I think it's more than that though. Like, I don't think it has any long-term benefit unless you become top 20 in the world. Like, what monetary benefit do you have to be a tennis player? There's none. You
Yeah.
can teach on the back courts for $80 an hour to some fucking yo-yo who I don't care if he gets good or not. Like, I don't care.
Now you know why our podcast is
I
called
do.
Tennis.
I was gonna ask.
You're
That's
feeling
what
it.
I was gonna
You're
ask.
feeling the reason.
Yeah. It's present.
Hey, I hope people love the sport. Like, I think it's a beautiful sport. I still check it out periodically, but it will do a number on
It
you.
will.
Trust me.
So Rachel Rohrabacher is quoted as saying tennis sucks.
Tennis fucking sucks. Okay, guys, I got to go too. I got to go be a dad.
Thanks, Rachel. You got anything else?
Thank you. No. Thank you so much for having me. I
Nope.
appreciate you
We're going
guys.
to practice tomorrow. See you tomorrow,
Thank
right?
you. Nice